Hey, y'all. You are listening to my doula, Micah, my birth, my baby, my life, and I'm glad you've joined me today. I am getting ready to interview Brooke Hanson. She's a good friend of mine, and we talk about work. We talk about what she's been up to lately. We go deep into motherhood and parenting, and the conversation is fun and honest, and I'm really glad you're here with me today. Hey, you guys, I have Brooke Hanson here with me today in the studio for my podcast episode. Brooke is a good friend, and she is extremely creative. She's kind, smart, savvy, beautiful. I mean, Brooke is a really an amazing person, and so I'm so glad to have her with me today. And we're going to talk all things motherhood, work, family, all the things.
Awesome.
So we're just going to jump in. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself, your family, work, whatever.
Okay. Well, thank you for that introduction. You're very,
welcome.
very gracious and very sweet.
Of course.
So, I am Brooke Hanson and work for Home Abstract and Title Company.
Okay.
I do the business development there and have been there for, I think, 12 years.
Wow.
But love it. Love it. We have an awesome company, awesome employees and coworkers, and even better clients. So love that. That keeps me pretty busy. And then I, 2 years ago, in my spare time, started a boutique and textured threads. And
Amazing.
so, yeah, but number one, married and then have 3 boys and recent empty nester, and it's very strange. Yeah.
I bet. Talk a little bit more about how strange that is.
You know, it's weird and wonderful. Like it's
I can see
it's
that.
kind of like, I always say, like, when you have a baby, every bit of your independence is stripped away. You become, all your independence is gone, and you gain it back little by little, almost to the point where you don't even realize, you don't realize the last time you had to assist in a bath time, or the last time you did school drop off before they all drove. And so now it's kind of like all of our independence has been handed back to us, and we're like, we didn't really want this. I mean, it's strange, but there's sweet moments. And it's even, when they do come home, our time is a little bit more meaningful. So that's nice,
Deeper conversations. That's great.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, let's go back and talk a little bit more about textured thread.
Okay.
And I want to hear more about the boutique. The dress, the necklace, and the earrings are all textured thread, you guys. She's in her textured thread. So you really want to go check it out. It's at Saronia's. It's amazing. Brooke has excellent taste.
Well, thank you.
But I want to say, before the boutique, you were sending out a newsletter, and it was also called Textured Thread. So why don't you start at the beginning?
Okay.
Where that name comes from?
Yes.
What was in your heart about all that?
So I started a blog like back when everyone had stopped starting blogs. But it was more for me to be diligent and consistent in writing. I love writing. That is kind of how I process life, is just sitting down, whether it's like scribbling notes on my phone while I'm on a plane, or if I'm just writing in a journal. But that's just how I kind of process life. And so I started Textured Soul, and that's the blog. And the name was basically because, kind of self-explanatory, like all of our souls are we're all so textured as people, I mean, we just have layers and layers and texture that, kind of comes from the bumps and bruises of life, but that teach us. And so,
It's a great word.
Started that, and just writing, and enjoy that. It's kind of I don't know if I'll ever do anything with it, but I do enjoy that. So, and then I'm a natural sharer. I don't even know if that's a word.
No,
but
we'll accept it.
Sharer of anything I love. Like, so if I've ever found, like, something, a product or a solution or something that works for me and that I love, like, I naturally am like sending it out to friends. And so I started favorite things, like, once a year, kind of right before Christmas, which has led to Friday Eve faves. And so that's kind of once a month on like a Thursday, I'll post kind of like, 8 to 10 of my favorite things that are.
That's great.
Yeah. And it can be anything from like a cleaning hack, a product that I found to, a beauty something or a book that I'm obsessed with.
How can people jump onto that list? How can they get?
So that website is texturedsoul.com.
Okay.
And you can subscribe on there and it'll immediately come to their inbox when something else.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And how's it been owning a boutique and, going to market and shopping and all the things retail? I don't even know, girl.
So I knew zero.
Oh my gosh.
Zero. I mean, I think my poor husband, bless his soul, he's so great and supportive because I'm like, I think I want to do this. And he's like, okay, have you done some research? I'm like, nope, but we'll do it as we go. And so that's kind of what I did with the blog, and that's what we did with the store. And so that started, I've always loved fashion and clothes. I always joke, I'm nicer when I like my outfit. Which I really,
when I look good, I feel good. I'll be good.
Absolutely. Like fun. I'm just nicer when I like my outfit and feel good and I'm comfortable. Mm-hmm. But I just have always loved fashion and clothes and all the girly things. And then
she's a boy mom.
And I had 3 boys. And so I've always kind of had that in the back of my mind that I maybe want to do. And then our oldest, a couple years ago, I think right before the pandemic, moved to LA.
Wow.
And he moved to LA. He is a hairstylist here in town, Mason, at Courtney & Co.
Okay.
Now, but at the time, he was going to LA and going to the Michael Vincent Academy to do hair on TV sets and movies. And so my husband made the comment that he didn't think that I was going to be able to go see him as much as I was talking about, and I just thought that was really rude and said, why would I not? And he said, budget. And so that's kind of when we started the boutique for extra money to go see him and for a write-off, like to go to market in LA when I went to see him. And then the pandemic happened and the second shutdown of LA County sent him home. So but by then I already had a boutique and it's going, so it's the only creative, like, girly thing I get to do. And so I enjoy it.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
I love it too. Okay, so talk about being a boy mom.
Oh, what's so weird, and I know that this does not work all the time because, but I never wanted anything but boys.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that weird?
So interesting.
But I'm the oldest of 3 girls and like quite a bit older. Like my sisters are 7 and 12 years younger than me.
Okay. And
so I really feel like, not that I raised them, my parents did that, but I got to do girly things with them. I got to fix their hair and all of that. And I grew up in a religion that we did a lot. We had long hair. And so we did a lot of braids and a lot of buns. And so like I could do anything with your hair. I could braid a crown around your head right now.
That's
but
awesome.
I had boys and it's all wasted. And so anyways, I always wanted 3 boys too. I've talked about it for years.
Wow.
And so then I birthed 2 boys, and then the 3rd boy came along when he was 10 and completed and it was just kind of, it was very, very sweet.
Good.
Very thankful. So
did just briefly tell us what sticks out to you about those childbearing years, whether it was your pregnancy or childbirth or postpartum care? When you think back to that, what really stands out to you?
So my 2 pregnancies, easy pregnancies, very thankful for them, but had to be induced with both of them because I'd probably still be pregnant with them had we not. Like I'm an Enneagram 2, and so I think I just made them real cozy in there, and they were fine. But had pretty good pregnancies, pretty easy births. As far as postpartum, I don't know. I was a young mom, and I don't think it was back then, my oldest is 22, and it was back then when they didn't really talk about postpartum, and I didn't really know anything different other than just getting it done.
It's hard. Sorry, y'all.
It's hard. And, when he was born, some family members were going to come stay with me and help. And then, another family member got sick. And so like literally the day before my oldest was born, all of that was canceled. And so I just kind of knew it was on me and had to get it done. And looking back, when you go through something like that, you really don't know how you did, because with the tools that you had at the time.
Totally.
But I think that God's gracious and just kind of gives you the tools you need when you need them. Right. And so I didn't know any different. But nowadays I'm like, when I have friends and family that are having babies, I mean, like, help.
Yes.
You can't have enough help.
Yes.
So, yeah. And So, yeah, I don't know how a lot of my friends do it, watching them.
Yeah.
Because now I'm exhausted watching them. When at the time I didn't know any
Same.
better.
I think it's my age. I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's for the young.
Yes.
Raising little ones
Yes.
is for the young. Because I have
Absolutely.
grandkids now, and I'm just like, how did I do this?
Yeah.
This is a lot of work, and
I
they're
know.
just children. They're just playing. I mean, what is so hard about this?
I know.
Anyway, it's
I
age
know.
for me. But if I don't know, I meant to say this earlier. If you can hear something, it's actually rain. It's raining here in Waco, Texas. We've
favorite
needed
weather.
some. So if you're hearing something, that's what it is. Tell me what inspires you.
100% my family, my kids. They're just, even one thing that's fun about adult kids is getting to see their little adult personalities.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, you know, we have 2 in college, and so, and they're boys.
Yeah. Right.
And so every once in a while when you're like, can we start over? Can I raise you again so we can remember make some, you know,
Wow.
better choices? Not that they've done anything horrible, but it's just those moments where you're like, you know, the simple things of one
Yeah.
of them not knowing how to use an ATM card. And I'm like, where have you been? And, you know, those things.
Yes.
And then at the same time, they turn around and they have this, you know, they partake in the conversation and they have this thought that has opened my mind up, and I've never thought about it that way. And so it just inspires me to continue to learn and grow. I don't know if I'll ever stop. I do love learning. I love figuring things out. And then my husband inspires me just because he believes in me. And so that's
amazing. That's an important one right there. That's so good.
Absolutely. It's
So you
very sweet.
mentioned, and you don't have to backtrack and talk about your past, but you did mention that you were a part of a church or spiritual group where lots of long hair and things like that. Brooke and I actually met in a Bible study. So tell us a little bit about maybe your journey with God as a believer.
Yeah. You know, I've always, I want to say this carefully,
Okay.
because I do have family and friends that are still in that, you know, belief system pattern.
Okay.
And they're wonderful. But so from 7 to 17, we were in a religion that was very, I would say maybe legalistic.
Okay.
But wonderful. Like it was, I had a great childhood. But I guess we looked more Pentecostal. A lot of people thought we were, but
Okay.
we weren't.
Okay.
It was more of just a Bible-based church.
Okay.
And so, was raised with no TV, no radio, no makeup, long hair,
Wow.
no pants, wore dresses, no jewelry. And then now I have a boutique and sell it.
You rebel.
I know, but it was great. It gave me a good foundation. You know, there's
Good.
several things. I think my love of reading came from those times because I didn't really. That was my entertainment.
Yes.
Yeah.
So true.
So, like when I was. My mom would be like, "Can't you say one more thing?" But we do tease it. We joke about this. Like when I got in trouble in middle school and high school for usually my mouth, I got grounded from reading because that's the only the only thing that they could take away that meant something.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but the thing is so learning, when you learn about God in the way that is a legalistic or ritual or whatever, I didn't know like the heart of God until I was an adult.
Yeah.
And I do think that my children is really what, because there were some gap years from when I left that to then when I became a mom that I didn't want anything to do with any religion or even God.
Yeah,
and
I
kind
get
of
that.
ran.
I get
And
that.
so then when I had our oldest, definitely wanted to figure things out. And so the fact that like I still just like such a love affair with him and with Jesus is a testament to him.
Oh yeah.
Because he was always there, you know, and kind of just let me stray and then come back and get to know him. So getting to know him as an adult has just been the sweetest journey.
So good. I love that. Don't you think that sometimes those of us that have been brought up and raised in a home that is religious, and then as an adult, things start to come alive for you as an individual. And I think a lot of us have to kind of undo some things first.
It was a lot of undoing.
Yeah.
And the thing is, there was a lot of undoing, and some of the undoing I think was my own. Yeah. Like, I don't know, I was talking to some friends and reading some books the other day, and it was kind of like, why did I think that? Like, I've just always, because I've had years of like kind of unpacking that as well.
Right.
And I'm just at a place where I can be thankful for my journey, because there's been a lot of years that I wasn't.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. Yeah.
That's a really good message.
Yeah.
And I think there's probably lots of people that needed to hear that.
Well,
so thank you for saying that.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate that. I would like to ask you, and I'm going to try to ask most of my guests this question. What do you feel like has been, for you, either the hardest thing about being a mom or parenting, or where do you feel like you have fallen short as a parent, as a mom?
So, and the hardest thing about parenting in this season, and then when I look back, it was also one of the hardest things, even when you're raising them in the house, is holding back. I am a natural fixer. I like to fix things.
Got it. Yes.
And so, like, when the boys came home, or they had gotten in trouble or something, or they had their feelings hurt by a friend or an adult or something, like, it's my natural instinct, not just for them, but for friends and family, but just to get in there and fix it for them. Like, you just get back here, and I'm just going to get in there, and I'm just going to fix it. And I did that a lot.
Got it.
Until I realized, that's part of their journey, and that to learn how to fix things. And so,
and to learn how to fail.
To learn how to fail was a big thing. Yeah.
That's hard to watch your kids.
I think that's a big part of, that's a big part of what I'm saying too, is just, it's horrible. And I want to save them from that. Yeah. And so now that they are, adults, which I really think that you shouldn't be labeled as an adult until, like, your brain is
30?
fully developed, like the front lobe is closed.
Agreed. Totally agree.
Having, so, but now that they are technically adults and, something comes up, it's really hard for me not to just,
Let me tell you how to do this. Let me tell you the answer.
Yeah,
Let me tell you what not to do.
Yes.
That's what I want to tell my kids.
Yes.
Because not that I was so great at it and I made all these wonderful decisions. I want to be able to say, don't do what I did. Just don't do this, you know. That's what I want to spare them from.
It is the number one thing, and I say that a lot. And so holding back on that, on being a fixer, and then holding back my words, like, because I learned when my kids were in school that when you pick them up after school, they're tired, they're exhausted, they just want to decompress.
Yes,
and I haven't seen them all day, because even though I've been at home abstract for 12 years, they were very gracious in letting me kind of work my own schedule. So I always picked my kids up after school and would work, while they were in school. And so when I picked the kids up from school, I was just excited to see them. And so it was just the barrage of questions, hey, how was your day? What'd you have for lunch?
Totally get that.
And I realized, I'm not a quick learner, sadly, probably too late, that I had like I had two questions before they just totally like zoned out and ignored, kind of went on autopilot. And so I needed to make those two questions count. And so it was always something to do with their heart, because that's the one thing, like, through, and we've had our kids, they don't get to adulthood without some troubles, right? I mean, whether no matter what it is. And so, through all of it, our goal has always just been to not lose their heart. And so,
so important.
So
I love that.
Yeah.
So tell the listeners, these days, what are you dreaming about? What are your hopes or future plans? What's next for you?
I want to continue to grow Textured Threads.
Good.
The boutique, online as well.
Great.
And so that, and then really to just, this is kind of opposite of what people think, but just to be and to rest. I want to learn how to rest well. I never have. And so I love traveling, and I go, and I love it. But
do you rest when you travel?
No,
Or, okay.
No, I don't. And that's the difference. I was paying attention, like I'm exhausted, but then I'm just ready to still go. I do a lot. But I don't ever rest. And so, because if I'm somewhere on I need to just learn to rest at home. When I'm on vacation, I want to experience.
Got it.
And so, I don't know. Now that we don't have a lot of, the boys' schedule or whatever, I want to learn how to rest.
It's really good.
Yeah, I know.
You said you like to read.
I love to read. I do. Yeah. And I can't even tell you how large my to be read pile is. And I have 2 cookbooks. I even love to read cookbooks, like really. And so I have 2 sitting there on the counter ready for me. But, when I'm home, I just, that's something we're working on right now. Like God and I were like, just to turn my brain off and let me be.
So good.
A friend of mine used to say, like, God made us human beings, not human doers.
It's really good. so true.
Trying to learn how to be a being. Yeah.
Are you looking forward to your boys settling down and getting, at some point? I know they're in college right now, but
it is so fun. Last night they all came in town because we had family pictures.
Oh, wow.
And I think that I scared them because a couple weeks ago, my oldest, I did. I've always been kind of like neurotic about family pictures because it was the one time a year that I made them, do family pictures and, let's just act like we're a nice, normal family. And, and so, and trying to coordinate 3 boys who are essentially the same size without being matched. Like, I just want to bring back the days where like everyone wore like black shirts and jeans. Like, I mean, I just want that fast. I just want that trend to come back. So it's so much easier because, you have one in a vest and one in a pullover and one in a shirt. And so the middle one always said he got shafted. Like, he would have to wear like the purple jeans, and they were not purple jeans. They were maroon. And he did end up in College Station. So
okay.
Maybe. But anyways, this year, I don't know, now that they're not there and they're not home, I don't really care. I don't care what they wear. I just want them home. Yeah. And so it started a couple weeks ago. My oldest is like, what are we going to wear? And I was like, I don't really care. But do you have anything in your closet that you like? Wow. He was like, and then it slowly, the other 2, like, hey, what color are we wearing? When I'm like, I don't really care. Do you have a shirt in your closet that you like? And I think they thought I was dying or something.
Oh my gosh,
what is going on with Mom?
That's
and
awesome.
So finally it all just kind of came together last night, but it was so fun. We were there, it was hour, and then ate with them afterwards before they had to go back to their campuses and schools. And it was just so fun. There's for the mamas with littles, just hang in there. Yes. Like, because there's so many fun things throughout the year. You don't have to wait till they're adults.
Right,
like,
right.
Really cool.
What's a good tip then? What's a good tip for these young mamas with littles?
Oh, stay in the moment.
It's good.
Yeah. Staying in the moment, because now I have the memories, and I look back and think like, so in that situation or that memory, like, did I teach them anything? Did I do this? Did I do that? And then I have to stop myself. I'm like, why do I even worry about what I taught them then? Like, they're great kids. Yeah. They caught something. Like, just enjoy it. Yeah. And enjoying seeing them, I do have the oldest, like I said, so my sisters have little ones. And so when I get my nieces and nephews, like, that's kind of, I just want them to be seen, and it's hard when you're a mom. You have so much to do. It is. But even if you can, put aside 20 minutes, even if it's like for the week, 20 minutes per kid, just to sit and do whatever they want. That was another thing learning is it's really hard for me to be interested in boy stuff. I'm a girly girl.
Right.
And so like our oldest was into theater. Like, I don't know anything about theater. And so it was learning what their likes are and then being interested in that. And so that's one thing. My husband kind of led that by example. Anything they were in, we dove in head first. Even if they were in it for just a season, which most of it they were. So, yeah. So.
Really great advice. And I think it's so important that, there's actually scripture that talks about younger women learning from the older women, or I can't remember exactly how it's worded. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm an older woman now. and not because I'm full of all of this great advice and knowledge. It's experience, really.
Right.
And it's kind of what I said earlier. The mistakes I've made, I learned from.
Right.
And so, yes, I want to give that away, or I want to communicate those things. But then at the same time, I don't want to rob you from your opportunity of making mistakes and learning from them.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely.
So it's kind of this balance of how to give away some things that you feel like you've received from the Lord or from other people that has been beneficial and helpful.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And then letting people find their journey as well.
It's so true. And just to add on that, I want to say, like, one thing I've learned from my husband that I was just flabbergasted when I realized this is what he was doing. But instead of teaching, like when I would teach the boys something, I would like gather them in, like, hello, come in, boys, we're going to learn this, which is they already are like tuned out. And so my husband is so good at encouraging them by believing that they can already do it. And so he would just throw it out there, like when they were older, and he would be, he would say something to the effect of, hey, can you go, hook up the trailer, and then just if you'll back it up into the barn. And I'm like, they don't know how to hook up a trailer. They don't know how to, I'm looking at them like, no, it's not a great idea. But it was funny because, like, watching their face over and over, like, they kind of had the same, like, does he know I can't do this? Like, does he remember? But he already believed in them. Yeah. And he, had such confidence in them. Right. It gave them confidence to learn. And that's
really good.
Yeah. That was big lesson.
So great.
Yeah. I'm still not great at it, but he is. So that's all that matters. At least one of us.
It's a balance. That's right. Yeah. Parenting. That's what's nice about
absolutely
being half of a parent.
Yes.
Half of a parent. That did not come out right. You're not half of a parent.
Of the team.
Half of the team.
Half of the team.
That's the way to put it. Yeah. For sure.
Yes.
Brooke, I am so glad that you joined me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Such a treat.
I've loved you since I met you. I don't even know how long ago that was.
I don't know either.
I don't either. It
feels like
the Nehemiah. Was it the Nehemiah Bible study?
Is that 10 years ago? Surely not.
No, I don't know. It was a while.
It was a while.
But I loved it.
Yeah.
You were one of the best things that came out of that Bible study.
You are sweet. Oh my gosh. Thank you.
Yes,
I appreciate
thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for joining me today, you guys. Thank you for listening to My Doula Micah. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube at My Doula Micah. We can also get connected at mydoulamicah.com. If you're interested in checking out my book, the link to The Humor in Birth, Stories and Insights from a Doula can be found on all of these social platforms. Be sure to share and subscribe. I'll be here next week, so please be sure to join me again. And this podcast was produced by Rogue Media Network.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.